Hello and welcome to Projects in Java. Today we're starting our database project. Databases are everywhere, everyone is using them to keep track of transactions and to keep track of other records. So it's a very good skill to have. We're not going to focus too much on the SQL part. What we're going to do is set up our Java application to access the database and run SQL statements on it. So let's take a look at some of the tools we're going to use. We are going to use MySQL. So you can download it from this website, set it up, install it, get your server running. Here is the workbench, and you can see that my server is running right now. And let's take a look at the complete app. So the first thing that comes up is this dialog box. As a host name, we're trying to connect to this computer, so that's the local host. We have the port 3306, that is the default that MySQL uses. We have the database called test, and a username called root. And we enter in our password. And you can see here how it tells us that we successfully connected to the database. We enter in a query here, and we can hit execute. And when you hit execute, it fills out a JTable with the information that you requested. You can reset, and we'll run another query. And so this is a very simple project. All it does is it takes this statement and executes it against the database. Now there's a lot of other parts to it. We have to connect to the database, load the driver for that database. So that's what we're going to focus on with this project. Of course, you can use this project for a lot of other things. You can create something like a sales tracker. I did that once, where the users would have a form that they fill out. It uploads to the database, and they can also run the report to see their stats for a certain day. So let's go ahead and start our setup. We're going to create a new Java project. Now for this, we are going to have to use an external library. It's the driver for MySQL, and I have the jar file here. You can just drag and drop it in the source folder. You right click it and go to build path, add to build path. And now we're ready to start using that once we start building our database application. Next, I want to take a look at the classes that we're going to be using. Our first class is a main class, and so this is what connects everything together. It also launches our JFrame. We also have a database class, and what this does is it displays the records and executes the queries. We have a connector, which uses this driver to connect to the database. And we have a connect dialog. That's the first menu that comes up that prompts for all the user's information. So the connector will use that and connect to the database. And then the database will use the connector to execute the queries. And the main puts everything all together. So in our next video, we'll start creating the main class and the database class.